Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 78 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. My name is Jeff, and alongside me is the Rhett Titus to my Kenny King. It's Max, everyone. What's going on, Max?
I definitely don't like that.
Why?
Because that's definitely the lesser of the two groups. Or lesser of the two people in the tag.
Hey, you don't know. You don't know. Maybe just right this moment. Hey, no, Rhett is a champion, I believe. He's there.
Of what?
He's there, something. Well, anyways.
ROH?
Yeah, look it up.
I'll figure out in a second. I'll see if I can find myself to be better than I am. Hold on.
There you go. Look it up. But all right, guys. Yeah, well, hey, Critical Sting. There you go. Always clutch with the box.
Oh, look at that. He's the world
There you
television
go.
champion.
TV. There you go. Chat's already getting started. Hello, everyone. An unprepared episode, but we're excited to talk because there's a lot to talk about, and it's hard to pick what to talk about. So hopefully we do it justice. Of course, we will do our normal starting segments, but make sure if you're watching on YouTube, you take a look up there at the Tron and see the great stuff happening for Impact Wrestling, as well as us and the shows coming out and that have been coming out. Get into the numbers, guys. They are what they are. We are 259 strong on the subs there. Of course, we want them higher, but once again, for every sub, we generally get about the same in listens or views, so we thank you for that. As we always say, one fan at a time, one friend at a time, and we're trying to build a community, as it rapidly grows, Impact community, keeping the cool ones together. But thanks for sticking with us. We have a different power rankings this week. I apologize to Tia. She does the narration for it, but I had to put the videos at the end. I was literally working up to the last moment. But most importantly, we have a shit ton of YouTube comments, Max.
Okay.
So
That's
let's
good.
get right into those. We'll try to do that justice as well. I think we're going to have to do something where we do top 7 or pick a number a week and hopefully, make it fair. But there's a lot. Can you see that? You want me to go?
I'm going to have
All
you
right,
read
I'll
that.
read the longer ones there. This is our buddy Bland Skies 20. I thought this week was more like a filler show before a pay-per-view. This is last week. Jonah Lambert stuff is not interesting, especially with Jonah most likely leaving in April. I didn't like that PCO was in the main event. There are far better wrestlers. Once again, I suck at pressing read more. But yeah, no, I mean, that's fair. I like the episode. I agree. I'm not a big fan of Lambert anywhere around there, but I think we'll get to that a little bit down the road at number 4 with the Forbidden Door. I think that's where this leads. Next up, our buddy Hakeem Fulton, who might be in the actual chat right now. It's good to see Mickie James lasted 12 to 15 minutes in the Women's Royal Rumble. Yep, can't wait to talk about that.
She was literally like the person that went on like second or third after we ended our show. We could have just stuck it out. One more person would have been fine.
Life. Side Blurry 28, another friend of ours. Oh, Lord, I cut this one because I suck. It's fine if the ROH talents are signed Impact, thus why they look strong. The problem is when Impact goes out of their way to make non-signed talents look super dominant at the expense of their own talents while not adding, I'm guessing, value upon their talent.
I think the issue with that is you have to let these people look strong, because if they come in and just get stomped into the ground, you're like, all right, whatever. Yeah. Like, they have to look like a threat, even if, like, if not, it's dumb. It's like the WCW Invasion when they rolled in a bunch of nobodies. You're like, well, this is crap. We know who's going to win that. So you have to make them look good.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it, obviously, more extensively at number 2. We kind of make it a fixture of the show to talk about the group, especially this week. Because it's one thing after another. Trent Hatchett, the Briscoe brothers would be awesome in Impact if Impact could get them. Totally agree. Millard Harris. I also think that Davey Richards might come back to Impact and reform the Wolves. They're heel tag champs in Pro Wrestling Revolver, so it would make sense to do the same thing at Impact, joining Honor No More. Once again, we'll talk about it, but very good point. Akemi already got one, but he's going to skip you for this next two. But I like he says he will indeed resign with Impact. So. All right. So referring to Josh for our audio listeners. Audio listeners, once again, dwindling, but our YouTube going up. Is it our faces? Is it this awesome YouTube comment thing? Let us know. All right. Getting smaller now. Blue Shades 99. AEW has no competition on Wednesday, as Max was pointing out, and is on a network that has 90 million in homes. Impact on Spike, which is not as many homes in TNT or TBS, got 2.2 million as first WWE Monday Night Raw, when Raw had millions more. You know, and we always say pro wrestling. We talk about everything here, but once again, and I agree with most of that there. The logic is there for everybody, but the variables are different. There's no way of...
Yeah, there's not nearly as many people watching wrestling
cable
now
television
as there was back then. Or yeah, and people are like, it's yeah. I mean, I definitely agree that people shit on Impact for that time when they tried to go up against WWE, but at least they had the balls to do it. Like, give them their props. Like, you can't be champ unless you step in the ring. And they tried to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Last here, Dan TV. Hey, bro, I hope you'll notice. Oh, never. This is about my TNAIW microaggression, guys. I love them. I don't know if I could get rid of them. But go watch the unboxing if no one's seen it yet. It's something. All right, last one here. Can you see that, Max?
I wish people should stop being Melvins and start digging I'm Matt Taven. TBF. I can't read that. Gravitas Ventures have some very good films. I'm just gonna stop reading that. They do not. They have. I mean, they have like 3 good films. Everything else on that thing is ass. It's good to see Mickie James lasted 12 to 15 minutes in the Women's Royal Rumble. I think we'll talk about that.
Oh wait,
at number 3, the Royal Rumble.
I think I recopied. So maybe not as many comments. Well, if we forgot you, I apologize. Either way, keep them coming in, guys. We love it. And it's all love. Disagree, agree with us in the chat, on their comments. Like us, dislike, thumbs up, thumbs down. As long as you're here and you're rocking with us, we appreciate it. Let's keep this party going. Let's go right into the new power rankings. And I see you in the chat there, but you'll be on next week, I promise.
Number 10, Tag Champs The Inspiration. Number 9, Champ Deonna Purrazzo. Number 8, The Undefeated Masha Slamovich. Number 7, New DMC Matt Cardona. Number 6, number 1 contender W. Morrissey. Number 5, Kenny King and Honor No More. Number 4, Jonah. Number 3, World Champion Moose. Number 2, The Walking Weapon Josh Alexander. Number 1, God Bay White Bullet Club.
All right, so there you have it, the new power rankings. Working on it, it's getting touched up, and like I said, you'll be on both sides next week.
I feel like Matt Cardona should have been a little bit higher. And I don't really understand why the inspiration is there, considering the fact outside of giving Caleb with a K a new phone, they weren't on the show. I mean, people were completely fine with leaving Kenny Omega off when he didn't do anything on episodes. So I don't understand why they even made it on there.
First of all,
you know, Bhupinder could have been there. He came out and looked phenomenal. He could have been 10.
He had 1 point. Well, here's the thing. One, there are some things in there. Cardona definitely should be up. Cardona should definitely be up.
Yeah, like dude's a new
but
champion.
Number 2, neither you or I voted, so we need to shut the fuck up.
I never vote. I'm like the American public. I don't vote and then I complain. I'm the voice of the nation.
It's like being friends with Max, guys. So, anyways,
on this I don't vote.
Thank you for rocking with us. As I said, if you like the new power rankings, let us know. That's why they haven't been on. I've been trying to work on them, get them tuned up, and they'll be put back on the channel rather soon. All right, so we're gonna get into Impact on AXSTV, and I'll read that in just 1 second. I need to get these lightning bolts, because God forbid. Boom! Impact on AXSTV. All right. Well, I load that up. If you're watching on YouTube, which it seems most of our audience is, or obviously live on Twitch, which we love you guys as well. Keep getting those subscriptions up. We're up to 77. So we're at episode 78. Someone's got to do it. Who is going to be that one? Also, the numbers as I'm talking about, 259. Thank you to the last two. We're trying to get to 300, 350, somewhere around there by Rebellion. That'd be awesome. But yeah, TBN, Talking Bloody Nonsense. If you're not watching, you gotta go watch. These guys are killing it. New intro, which is dope, with the custom theme song, which we don't even have. I mean, that's sucks.
I mean, we used to have custom intros.
When
we can break
can
out
pay for
our...
them like everyone else.
We got a free one from Mickie James.
It's my buddy Larry D's on the show. $100.
I mean, we got a free one from Mickie James.
I love Mickie.
Go break that out. It's a different name, but this is a completely wrong name of the show.
So, anyways, go check them out, guys. And if you haven't watched TBN chats, they're on number 3 right now. Number 4 coming soon. They had, as you can see on the Tron, Lizzie Evo was the first one who just joined ICW. You had Ricky Knight Jr., which no introduction necessary. And number 3 was Mr. Len Davies, who was instrumental in getting Impact Wrestling touring in the UK from 2008 to 2013 or so. His career is beyond that in all different genres. He's a director, actor, crazy amount of stuff. But the stories he tells, and he's going to do a part 2 because he didn't get to a lot of them. But a lot of the backstage stories are pretty damn funny. So if you're interested in anything backstage of professional wrestling, go watch that. Our buddy Nixon kills it. And thank you also, Craig, for your help with the power rankings. We're re-upping them. All right, let's get to this. So on BTI, and I mentioned BTI because it's fucking great now. I like it. I watch it. I enjoy it. Kudos to them. They got great chemistry. But Taurus defeated Raj Singh. I'm glad Raj is getting a little play, even though he lost. Grace and Cardona for the DMT, I guess is what we're calling it now. They are the DMC, but they wrestle for the DMT.
I thought it was Digital Media Championship.
They're the Digital Media Champion, but they call it the Digital Media title. I think because like the TV title.
Whatever. Hey
man, semantics. But Cardona wins. I think we get what we wanted, and I'll get into my details about how much I love this match later. And it'll anger a lot of you, it seems. Morrissey searching backstage, and then we go to commercial, and he's searching more. He talks to D'Amore, though, and whatever. He gets Brian Myers and something about a hotel. Cardona drops one of the funniest lines in quite a while about what will Chelsea think? What will Chelsea think? Ask Gresham what it's like to go home to a loser every night. That shit's great. Live event commercial, which it's nice to see those again. Caleb Madison inspiration. Give Madison or give Caleb a gift here. Interesting stuff. Macklin versus Gresham in normal rules. Rick Gabani on the mic. Cruz in the ring. Silken ringside. What the fuck is going on? It's a fanboy's dream. I love it. And it goes to a disqualification. Macklin being Macklin, who's awesome as well. But and then we get Honor No More. They come in. They stick up for their buddy or not buddy. We don't know. And then we leads right into Josh versus Vincent. Josh and Gresham having a stare-off. So it feels like we're going to get that match at some point. And then Josh beats Vincent. We get a victory over the dastardly Honor No More. And then the Playboy Pitbull, Kenny King, the two-time X Division champion?
Two-time.
Is back in Impact Wrestling. I don't care if he's part of Honor No More or if he's part of VBD or part of BTI. Awesome. Great to have Kenny back on a TV.
Kenny King in decay.
Next we had John Schuyler versus Bhupinder Gujar. I hope I pronounced that right. Bhupinder picking up the win. He was good. We'll get into that. Raj Singh came out, continuing the rise of Raj, which I love. And are they friends just because they're Indian? Are they? No. Okay, we'll see. Mickie, Tasha, Chelsea backstage. Then we have a quintessential diva promo again. Masha versus Basha Sanks, I think her name was.
Random job.
Deanna backstage talking about I'll take on anyone next week for any of the gold. And then we have Bullet Club versus Ace, Fulton, something, and Bailey, which we get the Bullet Club. We get the Bullet Club. With Bay getting the win over Fulton, or excuse me, something. Then jump by good violence at the end, and here we are. Max, did you like the episode? Where are you at with it? How do you like the development of everything we just talked about?
So I loved the episode. I thought it was great. I was super happy with Matt Cardona. I loved the start where he's like, I don't want to hit a woman. I don't want to hit a woman. And then all of a sudden he goes out and then hits her in the face with a chair. I was like, thank you. I was like, it's almost, and I like the way the transition happened. It's like he saw the title and he realized my goal is to win a title. Fuck this bitch. Hit her in the face with a chair.
Yeah, man.
Like that was what happened. He's like, wait a second. You know, and that Jordan looked good. She looked threatening. They talked about a lot about the fact that the only thing she's given up to him is height. So they talked about her strength. I thought that was really good. Jonah versus Crazy Steve, which is Jonah killing Crazy Steve. We're eventually going to get Jonah versus Black Taurus again. Or Avenge is the next one. That match, it was good. It wasn't anything great. The Macklin versus Gresham thing I liked a lot. I thought it was interesting because they talked a lot about the pure rules. And then they kind of, through all that match, it was, well, you know, things are different here. He's using things here. I just thought that was really well done, the way they talked about all that. The one thing I find funny is Gresham wins, and then Macklin's jumping him. And then Honor No More comes out to save Gresham. And I'm pretty sure it was Riccaboni who's like, you guys are better than this. Like, they're saving your man from getting his ass beat at. Like, no, this is what you want.
Yeah.
Like, of all the times for them to run out and be jackasses, they were actually helping somebody at this point, and they weren't just like randomly interrupting the match. So I thought that was a little weird that he's like, you're better than this. We hung out so, it's like, my man, they're literally saving Jonathan Gresham getting his ass whooped. Yes, correct. But that's what he was talking about. So I was like, all right, whatever. Josh Alexander versus Vincent was really good. I was really impressed with Vincent. Someone else talked about why did PCO have the match? They're giving all these guys individual matches prior to their big 5-way. So we had PCO, we had Vincent. Next week we have the Kingdom. I'm sure then we'll get Kenny King. So they're slowly giving us one-on-one matches to kind of build different feuds within.
Well, we'll talk about that a lot.
This thing. Yeah, but just, so I like that. From there, the John Schuyler Bhupinder Gujjar. I was actually impressed with Bhupinder. I thought he looked good. I do wish he was somebody other than random Indian dude. Like, everybody that comes from like Tennessee isn't a farmer. Like, why is it that everybody that comes from
who
like,
has the background of
like always from India? Okay, let's make them an Indian. Like, I just want these guys to have their own like developed characters, because I feel like they shoehorn them into Indian dude.
Yeah.
But I like his spear from the second rope. I thought that was pretty cool.
I was going to say, just real quick on that, I think we talked about that extensively about how cool, you know, we wish Rohit had stayed, because him and Raj had that swag of just bringing something different to the table. Obviously, they're Indian descent, but they bring something else. Now, I don't know if they're going to go that direction with this guy, and I think that's part of why he didn't agree right away with Raj. You know, and kind of, will they or won't they? I think Raj might stick to that. And then this guy is just, hey, because Raywalt, who was on the mic, and I didn't say that as color again, mentioned he's India, by way of Canada or something like that. Like, he had made a mention, and it didn't seem like a slip. I just made it sound like a slip, but he made sure to correct and say that he's from Canada. Scott D'Amore likes this guy.
Yeah.
I think they don't go that way with him. I can see, you know, I keep pushing the Team Canada thing. Shout out to Chris Zalita, by the way. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Our buddy always writes us on Twitter, and I'm not on there enough to reply in detail. But he mentioned this, and maybe this sets this guy up for the Team Canada route.
That would be cool. But I just would like, obviously, we've talked about that. Matthew Raywald again, he was amazing on the mic. Although he is a heel, he's not super heelish on the mic, which I like a lot. I really like him. It's just like having it to me. It reminds me much more of like an MMA fight in which you just have two guys
Yeah.
doing commentary and one's not trying to be overly dickish and
Right.
heelish. Like it's kind of refreshing to just have him just be like sometimes he is, but a lot of times he's just him. So I really like him on the mic. The Deanna segment I like her being the Ring of Honor and the Reign of Duranda's champion because she's still a
Yeah.
champion, but she's not Impact's champion. So she still gets to defend her belts and talk about her how important she is. And it's not like, well, I don't have any belt or anything. So I really think I hope she keeps that at least the ROH title for a while and continues to defend it on Impact and such. I loved when Mickie James was talking about her thing in the Rumble. I loved Tasha Steele's segment. I thought she was
Yeah.
amazing on that. I like that Mickie pointed out she was like, "You should probably take off your glasses." I just thought that was really well done. And then Bullet Club, it was a good match. My brain stopped working. Jay White, his moves, so many of them seem so impactful
Yeah.
with the stuff he does. And he's not a huge dude. Just the way he pulls them off makes it look like he killed somebody. And I absolutely love that. So I thought overall, yeah, he's incredibly smooth, incredibly like violent looking on a lot of his moves. So I really like that. I thought it was a really good episode, top to bottom.
Yeah, I agree with most of that. The thing about Ray Wall, I like the verbiage. I like the knowledge. I like exactly what you said of it feeling like two guys, obviously more, still there's obviously on television, but it's two guys not trying to one up each other necessarily. It's not them trying to overhype or act excited. They're just calling it as is. The only thing I will say is I think he'll get more comfortable, and who knows if he's the full time color commentator. We don't know. I once again think D'Lo comes back with some kind of other route, but we'll get to that at number 2, I imagine. But yeah, I just think he needs to get comfortable there if this is going to be his job. And it will in time. Some of it's just a lot of like trying to talk. I don't know, like a lot of trying to be dramatic, which obviously makes sense. He's drama king, but yeah, he'll get comfortable, I think. But yeah, I agree with you. Look, once again, I made the mention BTI. You got to watch it. I think it's must watch. And if you've watched last week's episode of Impact, just fast forward. It's not that difficult. I think it's definitely something worth keeping on. And then obviously Iceman is now giving things that allude to things that happen on the episode. So it's fun. And as the route they're going, that we'll talk about number 5, they're building their content. So support it if you support Impact, or don't. It's up to you. Yeah, Grace Cardona, I'm going to spend most of my time talking about this, or try not to, rather. Look, I had a back and forth Io once. Io's in the chat, who is now the Twitter handler. Incredible job doing Black History Month right now. Just keep killing it. If you're talking to someone on there, it's either me or him. The more douchey one is me, obviously. But we have been talking to somebody, and they were saying about how women's intergender matches are the shits, and drizzling shits, not the shit. And I was just like, look, if it's not for you, it's not for you. That's cool. Okay, I get it, man. Like, the Tessa thing was polarizing, I think, for many reasons, but for that reason, objectively, I think that was the main one. The intergender stuff. But the difference between, and that's nothing, Tessa, whatever, good for her, I wish her nothing but the best. And if she comes back, I would support that as well. I have to be honest with that. But there's a difference between her and Jordynne Grace. And there's a difference between the matches that Tessa wrestled, no offense again, I enjoyed all of them when they happened, to the one Jordan and Matt Cardona just wrestled. There was so much depth to that intergender match. And these are the kinds that Impact seems now to say. They plugged it on commentary, very well included. This is a very different kind of match. Cardona's never faced this. You mentioned it. The commentary was beautiful for it. They made a mention that Grace has an ability that none of the other knockouts could come and face Cardona about. She's strong. She, I mean, you can literally look it up online. I mean, the videos of her powerlifting, I bet she could lift more than some of the men, if not all, a lot of them. So there's some reality to it. In a world where we have, well, who do they just sign? Danhausen or whatever. In a world where we have people like that, we got to let it go and the reality part and say, oh, the reality of it. Look, if you watch that match beginning A to Z, beginning to end, and you could tell me that there's no realism to that, from the storytelling in the ring to the storytelling on the mic, I would disagree wholeheartedly. I thought it was one of the best intergender matches I've ever seen, simply because it puts that rhetoric of this is not believable in the shitter. Now, of course, if he were to just deck her, would she be out? Probably. But he didn't do that. In the match, he never, like, even his closeout when he did the boot, like, he was like, oh, and then she took it hard. You know what I mean? So the storytelling was phenomenal in that.
Like, here's the thing. If I can sit there and watch Rey Mysterio, who's now it says he's 5'6", 175. He definitely wasn't 175 when he was younger. But if I can watch Rey Mysterio fight Brock Lesnar or Goldberg and be like, oh, that's a close match, I can watch Jordan Grace, who's 5'3", 150, fight Matt Cardona and be like, okay, this isn't Alexa Bliss versus Andre the Giant here.
Yeah.
Like, it is like, they're similar. And as long as and I agree with you, as long as you're smart with the matchups, like, this isn't Jordan Grace versus Moose. That's over in 2 minutes. But if you're smart with the matchups, you can do these intergender matches, and you just have to, the women have to wrestle differently. They have to be smarter, and just, the matches can work. And I thought this, and this match worked well.
Sorry, I got to Austin Aries it again. I did it twice when you were talking.
You're good. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, I thought, I agree with you on that. It was a different type of match, and it worked.
It did. And I don't want to go too much into that, because obviously there's a lot that we'll be talking about with two. Excuse me. Keeping it classy. At least I'm eating a banana. All right. If you're listening to audio, it's not what you think. So Bhupinder, man, we talked about that. I wasn't like impressed, like, oh man, this guy's like Bailey. No. But they're obviously bringing in some new young guys. I don't know if I didn't look it up and have time to see if this was part of that gut check thing. So I think we're going to see a lot more new faces pop up. I made fun of her, Babasha Sinks or whatever her fucking name was, the jobber there. You're going to see more of these people, even if it's just a cameo, a Young Bucks cameo, or Generation Me cameo, excuse me. It's going to happen. And I like it. It keeps the product fresh. And especially when you go to local markets, it makes it feel more personable. I mean, we'll talk about it number 5, but they're going to New Orleans, and we see what's going to go on with that. So anyways, yeah, a lot going on there. I'll finish on that. I did like the Deonna thing, for the reasons you mentioned as well. But also, if Cardona is going heel, which obviously he is now, but in a different way.
Yeah.
I would imagine Chelsea follows suit. She's going to face Mickie in a friendly match soon. They never end friendly, right? Well, or sometimes they do, but it's more rare. So, if she's heel, and Deonna needs another pivot, as she's mentioned in a interview or two, I think in the sheets, I can't remember, but she mentioned her next objective being going for the tag titles. And we all know that Deonna and Chelsea are buddies. I think that would be a cool team. I don't think they should win, but I think they can push the inspiration to that next level to continue their journey, because I said it once and I'm going to say it 365, I don't know how many more days we have. They were signed to break ODB and EY's record.
I agree.
And they will. They'll be here for the 2 years, and I hope more. But yeah, just a lot of good momentum. So let's get more into to stuff here. We're hitting the halfway mark. We got Honor No More. It's once again, there's they're covering the episode without it feeling um, oversaturated. Is it because they're adding new people or they're only giving us a little taste at a time? I really dig it. But obviously, the thing we're going to mostly talk about here is well, first, Vincent took the pinfall. They're really hyping these guys got to go. I mean, it's not like what have they done, really? I mean,
aside jumping
yeah,
people.
I mean, yeah, okay.
Then again, Macklin's out here jumping people, and he gets to stay.
So double standards, I tell you.
If you're signed with Impact, you can jump everybody you want. But if you're Morrissey's out here killing all of Greg Valentine III or whatever his name is,
man.
and
yeah. So I didn't touch on that either. I must not have wrote that down. But Kenny King backstage, I had a Kenny King promo. It was great, man. Great. It's not only great to see Kenny back in Impact, but to come in, I don't know, man. There's just something about the way they handle people who have been in the company before coming back to it without making it he's like there's like they mentioned the history. Kenny mentioned the history. So it's good to be, it's just really dope what they're doing here, man, all around. But with Honor No More, I'm gonna see your opinion on Kenny. I have a feeling we know what it is. But then also, what's next? They obviously have that match at Sacrifice. Sacrifice? No. Am I going crazy? No Surrender. No Surrender. No Surrender, and it's winner take all. Obviously, they mentioned in the chat down there. Thank you to the Twitch guys and gals there lighting it up. But Eddie, nowhere.
Jesse Goddard's fan is a new person.
Oh, hey, welcome. Yeah, hit like, hit subscribe. We don't care. That one fan at time, one fan time. If you like it, you like it. We like you. So the Honor No More. We obviously mentioned the Eddie thing. They mentioned it in the chat. Sorry, I got distracted. Eddie, is it something you mentioned? Was it off air around here? I don't know. But is it a red herring or is it the real deal? What's going on with Eddie and Honor No More? And then obviously Kenny as well. Oh, Eddie and Kenny.
All right. So I love Kenny. The fact that Kenny King's there. I think he's a great addition to them. I think that. I mean, I loved Kenny King when he was in Impact the first time. And he was champion. So I'm super happy he's there. I mean, I like the way they're doing things with them. Their run-in this time was a run-in, and then just led right into the match. I agree. They aren't running in, beating people up, and then it's well done. They're telling a good story. I like this group. Somebody mentioned their women having a women member other than Marie, and I was trying to look through their roster because I'm not super familiar with who the women. Obviously, Angelina Love is there. That would be interesting for her coming back because of her Impact connections. Roxy, but I feel like she's a face. I don't think she would join it, but I mean that would be really interesting for her them to add a knockout or woman in there. I think that would be smart.
I agree.
But I'm interested to see it, especially if they win or we have contracts. Well, you said Honor No More had a contract, so let's add more people. We can get so it'll be an interesting way to just them bring in and grow their group. So that would be smart. I think it's really well. I had talked about it before. They're giving us a taste of each member in one-on-one matches. So they are doing some beatdowns, but we got PCO, we get Vincent. Next week we get the Kingdom. Then we'll get Kenny King. And they're also setting up feuds kind of individual with each person. So I think they're doing a really good job. I'm really happy with it.
Shout out to Luchos in the chat there, but he mentions there's Deanna is right in front of her eyes. Does she turn and she's ROH now?
That would be interesting.
I think Angelina Love makes a lot of sense. I see Parkside 15 in there saying Session Moth Martina.
Kellyanne.
I love that too. Whoever it is, I agree with you. The group is just the only argument I can make is that it's forced as if they're dastardly, which I guess if I worked at a place at a business and all my friends all my friends are getting beat up by this group of people who don't even work there, I guess I'd be pretty upset too. So,
So the two members they're missing are obviously Cheeseburger and Dalton Castle. I mean, I've said it from the beginning. Unfortunately, I think one of my projected boys might be leaving the company, in Larry D.
oh
But
yeah, yeah.
so that eliminates some of
Oh
the people I
yeah.
had designed as the boys. But we still figure something
Look,
out.
I think that's where this conversation is going to lead a little bit with this group as we get more and more, and obviously we keep reading the YouTube comments there. You know, we're taking, and we'll talk about Larry D at 5 with State of Impact. A little wink to Craig there. We're going to be losing people, or at least putting aside, putting people aside to make way for these people. At the same time, if they're actually signed, which in my eyes, it's all of the people that were let out of their contracts. There's only a few that I believe still are technically within. I'm not sure. I would be lying if I told you I knew. So if they are signed, the upgrade, and I mean that with all due respect, the upgrade in talent is undeniable. I mean, even Matt Taven, former champion there. PCO, former champion there. Now, I get it. Bennett and Maria, gold. Kenny King, former champion here, gold. This is gonna be some cool shit. Now Roxy, I think stays. I think she did that tryout with WWE. I think that's where she's gonna go. She fits them. She fits that narrative that they have when it comes to women's wrestling.
But here's the thing: much like your favorite sports team, I'm a Knicks fan. So are you. I love me some Kemba Walker. But if Damian Lillard comes over, I'm okay with seeing Kemba Walker leave because you got an upgrade. And that's the thing is some of these Impact guys are leaving, but the ones you're replacing them with, like you said, they're clear upgrades. And I agree with you. The people they're bringing in, you don't see Brody King, people who have signed with AEW showing up and doing stuff with here. It's the guys who seem to be available and ready. So it makes sense that they're coming here, or at least are going to work here for a extended period of time.
Now, I'll throw one back at you, a Knicks reference. Nerds. So just like everyone's talking about Cam Reddish, stuck on the bench, right? We just trade. Why would you trade for him? Why would you sign him if you got other people in front of him that you need to take a spot away from to make room for him? It's the same thing. Sometimes, you have people there, the ROH guys. They're not wrestling every week. They're there. They're on the screen, but so are some people that people are complaining about not being there on every week, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I think eventually, you're going to see some people go. I don't think it's going to be at the top, and we'll talk about that number 5 with Josh and so on, and Jake and all that. But I just think that an influx of talent, and if we're patient, just like I was mentioning with Cam, if you're patient, I think the writing's on the wall for something bigger. Now, does that mean it's Dame Lillard, as you guys are talking about in the chat? Anyways, I'll get off the NBA references. You know what I mean, though? Is it going to be a show? Is it going to be an ROH show? Is it going to be just a bleeding of the talent? And we have another show. I mean, the influx of talent here, once again, is undeniable.
And let's be realistic. The guys they're losing. Oh, sorry. Of the Honor No More people, Kingdom obviously has the ability to be tag team champions. Kenny King can easily be
anything
X Division champion. If you just buy himself. Vincent has the ability. I don't know if you want to make him a champion, but he can put on great storylines. His character is out there. Outside of PCO, who's just kind of like Frankenstein. All those guys you can fit in and are additions, whereas the guys you're losing, Larry D's cool and all, but what's Larry you're not? He's never going to be a champion or anything. He was it's that's kind of what it is. Like you're adding the people you're adding are above the people you're losing, and
Look,
that's just kind of my thought on it.
I agree with you. And, once again, I hope he succeeds in this business. I think he already has. I think he's a talent. Once again, saying someone coming in is great is not taking away from what he brought to the table. But
yeah,
they've tried gimmicks with him. They've tried putting him in places, and they've tried whatever. They made him the Lawrence thing. They eventually goes back to what Big Swole said when she was talking about is that AEW doesn't have the whatever. And I thought about the structure, or however she worded it, to help people when you're just an athlete develop that entertainment side or develop the character, the gimmick. They don't have, My thing with that is look, Impact's stepping up. We keep making the reference. This is Attitude Era, Monday Night Wars. Every segment on this show is earned. And that doesn't mean that people who don't make it aren't earning it, but hey, if someone's over, they're on these segments. They're not forcing anyone down our throat anymore. This is a good time. It's just getting tight. And with such little TV time, which I think will expand, we'll talk about it more at 5, I think bringing in more talent is not a bad thing. Depth is never a bad thing.
No, I agree.
All right. Let's get to number 3 here. We would be silly not to talk about it. We were doing it live, and of course, she came out 3 or 2 after us. I think she was 20,
just a
which
couple after.
I think 20 was a little wink to Impact's 20th year, because they took care of us. And I was gonna say it for State of Impact, but we're talking about Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble. They obviously had WWE footage on Impact Wrestling. We also had Robert Roode and AJ Styles in the middle of the ring, and a very loud TNA chant begins. Now, I say very loud because I'm a mark. Now, what's great about that is that this was not a feud that's ever happened in WWE, or yet, to my knowledge, never. Julius just got traded.
Maybe a tag feud, but I don't think so.
Right. So for them to do that, especially at the time they did, to get that, they wanted that reaction, and that's what they. Yeah. So kudos. I mean, they took care of us. She wasn't at 20. She eliminated Michelle McCool, who's not only the Undertaker's wife, but also a very talented legend of the Divas era.
Wasn't she the one who called her Piggy James? Long-term booking by WWE. Who says they can't do it?
Yeah. So they wrapped up that storyline 15 years later. Both women still, oh God, beautiful. Yeah. And then so she eliminated one. She gets eliminated with respect to someone who, like Lita, who's there too. So
yeah,
handled with class. Put her online. The only thing I saw the Vinceism is they made it when she goes out. It must have been right at Gorilla where he's like, "Yeah, she's not going out as a Knockouts champion. It's got to be women's."
So I saw that, and here's something that somebody pointed out, and I agree with it. To people who don't know anything about Impact Wrestling, saying she's the Impact Women's Champion is okay. That's because with the WWE women, like she's not like what's like. It's just their way of saying, hey, look, she's their women's division champion. So
yeah, sure. I would like to think that the American mind isn't that dumb to where they will be like, what's a knockout champion? Is she the? What do you think she is? What was that boxing thing in WWE?
I mean, but I'm saying it's just like, is that like what is that? Is that a?
That's true. Now Vince doesn't.
Like, people who don't watch Impact, it's just like, oh, this is Impact's women's champion. Okay, cool.
I got you.
Like it's just the easiest way to do it for people who aren't familiar with it. I was fine with it. They let her come out to Hardcore Country. She had the belt on. There was like massive cheers. Like they did a amazing job. And then, like you said, we had the footage on Impact.
Here's what I'll say on that. And I don't think there's anything bigger. I've been a proponent of saying that from the get-go. Hey, guys, lower your expectations. The trade has already happened. The rub is already there. Like, the rub they've given us is not... There's no money we can... Well, I'm sure there's a number we can put on that. But my point is to have WWE footage, and we've given them a lot of footage, but we've given them a lot of. I mean, come on, it's. I can watch our footage for 99¢. Impact footage. WWE, which has to clear that with a lot of people, if I'm not mistaken, because don't they air through? Do they air through Peacock still? Okay.
Yes.
So to do all that, they went out of their way to do that, and that's not a one signature thing. So that's very interesting. And does it lead to more? I still don't think so. But I thought they treated us with respect, and once again, I think there has to be something to said about maybe Tony Khan, the distaste and dislike for him being the reason.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, I think you'll eventually, if if AJ chooses to retire in WWE, I think you'll eventually get wow, he's in WWE. He comes back for his Hall of Fame ceremony. They let him come back, maybe do a final match, things like that. But I agree. You're not going to see a talent exchange going on. I thought the biggest benefit they gave Impact was not having Mickie get eliminated by Ronda Rousey, so she didn't have to sell those god awful ass cheeks looking punches. She was.
It's always the same. I told you.
I hate that.
I told you it was gonna happen.
She was horrible. But whatever.
Well, we're already hitting that forbidden doors. Let's keep that motherfucker open. Let's talk about a few things. One, obviously, we talked about a little bit earlier as well in regards to the comments about Dan Lambert. He was there. He was viewing. Okay, whatever. Obviously, he was part of Impact. Is that something? They obviously mentioned Josh Alexander in his segment on AEW with Brandy Rhodes. Riveting.
Which,
I love her.
By the way, I'm going to let you know. You fucked up when the crowd is cheering Dan Lambert. Like, no, he's supposed to be the heel. You sent him out with Brandy
horrible.
And all of a sudden.
Why did they do that to her?
Like, it was
She
so
was not
bad.
hamburger stand-in, Max. She was not set up for success. All right, so obviously he was in the crowd. Then they make the Josh reference. We don't know Josh's contract, and we'll kind of bleed this into number 5, State of Impact, because it's all kind of hand in hand.
They really should.
Oh man, no. See, look. Our buddy Tony Khan is making a lot of stink about. I've got some big signings coming, and if the door is open, they're more than welcome to come in and then shut it in their old company's ass. Whatever bullshit. He's out there, man. I mean, he who was the if I could remember his name, it'd be even better. Who was the coach of in Jacksonville? Yeah,
Urban Meyer?
This guy hired Urban Meyer, so.
I don't think it was him. I think it was his dad.
Hey,
Urban Meyer. I don't think he does anything with the
Jaguars. Where there's
outside of maybe walk through the building.
The floors. He brings the guys there for the rub. No, pro wrestling. All right, AEW though. So they're not gonna. He's a character, but I don't think he's as big a douche as people say. I think a lot of it's him blowing his own, So for him to be saying that about someone coming through, and everyone's like, just because they're released doesn't mean. I don't think it's someone who's released. The Jonah thing makes a lot of fucking sense with Dan Lambert being there, coming out during the match. If Jonah walks through that door, and he says, "Oh, you could slam it back," he's not going to say that WWE you're going to slam the door back. No, they're released. Whoever he's talking about, it's not going to be Samoa Joe. Or Keith Lee, and it might be down the road. I'm not saying that they're not coming this specific instance. I don't watch enough to say that, or inside knowledge enough to say that. But when he says that, and they're dropping hints, and Josh isn't mentioning contract, and he's not at the tape, I think Josh is going to AEW.
He might. It's a possibility. People are,
but not the way you're thinking. He's not going to be signed by AEW. It's going to be part of a storyline. You don't call Ethan, someone that you signed away from us, basically a Jannetty, yeah, and not that it hurt his value that much, but there has to be some payoff to that. Not that he's going to beat Josh, but there has to be some payoff to that. So I think Josh walks through that forbidden door, and it's something where maybe he gets mad that he's not going to sign his contract, his extension, because Scott won't give him what he wants. He wants his title match. Blah, 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 blah. Goes away, comes back, brings back Team Canada. Now, wouldn't it be some shit if Ethan's contract was running up as well, and he actually comes back with him, and he's part of that Team Canada we always wanted? That'd be something.
You and this Team
I
Canada.
love Team Canada. And a dead ass, look at the position we're in. Canada deserves a big thanks to keeping us afloat.
Trying to find Ethan Page on AEW's website to see what he is. He's 0-1 this year in singles, 1-1 in tag team.
There's only been
It's 23-7.
38 days.
Fuego del Sol, by the way, is 70-50 over the lifetime of his career.
Well, anyways, Max. So obviously, I mean, it's all, theory at this point, unless something's taped. But I do want to mention to the new listeners as well, or to new viewers, we are spoiler free. We are unbiased and try to be pro wrestling as much as possible, no matter the digs, because we joke Impact too. Yeah, the spoiler free. We don't know. I don't know where they taped up to, but the Forbidden Door Lambert thing, Jonah, he's just kind of dipping his toes in the water. They kind of got him off Josh. Maybe they have round 2 in AEW. I don't know. Where do you think it ends? Do you think? I don't personally. I thought that we were on bad terms, and I won't say bad terms, but basically we got CM Punk now and Bryan Danielson. I believe I call him the other way now. That's weird. We gave you enough rub. You don't give us enough credit. Thank you. And then I thought it was just done, and then that's why we got the WWE thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's where it was. I think AEW kind of got to we're just gonna focus on our guys. We worked with you guys because we wanted the Good Brothers and we wanted the Kenny belt collector gimmick. And once those storylines were over, we're just gonna, we don't really need you guys. We've got our own people, whatever. I mean, that's fine with them. Honestly, good for them because we've talked multiple times that they have a bloated roster. They need to be focusing on their guys and getting their guys on TV, because when these contracts come up, there's going to come a point where you can get rid, like the people who you want to get rid of, cool, we're just not going to re-sign you. Have a nice day, go kick rocks. But there's going to come a point where somebody's contract comes up that you want to re-sign, and they're like, yeah, I haven't gotten the TV time I wanted. Yeah, I'm not doing anything here. I'm going to go someplace else. So it's smart of them to focus on themselves. But I do agree that we'll see. Hope maybe the Josh Alexander thing was a line. Then again, maybe it was Brandy trying to be witty, and it's a throwaway line that we'll never see or never hear from again.
I think the stars a line. No, the other thing, when it comes, obviously we're going to melt this in a state of impact because we're about 7 minutes remaining here. Thank you again, guys. Make sure you go watch Talking Bloody Nonsense. It's on every Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. BST. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. And TBN Chats, Len Davies. Go watch that one. It's worth your time. A lot of cool inside stuff. Obviously you mentioned on there, AXSTV, or not AXSTV, excuse me, Impact Wrestling and Fight Network are now, or Fight, I don't always get it wrong, are now on YouTubeTV at the extension there, so the sports package. Things like that happening. Gary obviously mentioned the amount of footage that the movies they bought, and they're putting those in theaters. They're working with WWE. Obviously, business is good right now. But as we talked about adding more people, we say it all the time with AEW. Eventually, you gotta let them go, or you gotta create another show. So, is that where we're headed, or is this just them bringing in because the getting's good? Because look, there's a lot of people that just got Keith Lee. I think he goes to AEW, which is unfortunate.
I do too.
I think STP and them come to us with the ROH, and I think that's where D'Lo goes as part of that thing. I think we stay clicky with the ROH in New Japan. But I think Taya and John might go to AEW. Maybe float. Who knows? You got Killer Cross in Scarlet. You know, could be a work. We have different management ish now, so maybe they could come back.
Can I point out? I didn't realize he could grow
Oh
hair.
yeah,
I thought the man was
yeah.
just bald, and then all of a sudden I saw a picture of him with hair, and it was the biggest surprise of my life. I was like, I just never knew it.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to say, yeah, they deleted that. So I do want to mention that though. I'll let you wrap it up when we talk about all that stuff. There's going to be an influx. Samoa Joe. Everyone thinks he's going. I think he comes home. I just think that they wanted to put him in that package prior at Slammiversary if there wasn't any intent of him coming. I mean, yes, they put Daniel Bryan, but it was really featured. The thing with Josh, I continuously say this from two different. It's one, once again unbiased, but think about this: the footage of him in Scott, and he openly talks about it in interviews and on TV that they're like family. Okay, now that doesn't mean anything. Money talks, right? Josh, a few months back, right before that, before he was at that game with them and that you know, Braun for Glory, infamous stuff, and Murphy and stuff, whatever. Josh quit his job. I'm not wrong. I might be wrong here, but Josh has what, 2 kids, I believe, a wife.
I know he has at least one because Moose destroyed him in front of the one child.
So look, you don't, and then you put out a thing that says this is the first time I can have wrestling as my job. Like that is my only job now, and that was months prior, or a month prior to that thing. He signed an extension or a contract. There's no way in hell you quit your job. There's no way in hell you quit your job with 2 kids, living in another country or working in another country during a pandemic, and say, yeah, I'm a professional wrestler for life now. He signed. He got paid. I believe that. And if he didn't, it was a good extension until April, saying, hey, we'll talk again in April and we'll definitely take care of you, handshake deal. I know Scott won't screw him over, but Josh is an idiot. And I don't think you quit your job if you don't have something lined up.
No, I agree. I mean, to me, you don't do the ending they did at Bound for Glory without some type of, whether either a guarantee or a pretty strong feeling that this story is going to come full circle. Like, it just, you just don't do it. This isn't WWE who starts a story and then 3 weeks in is like, yo, this is done. Aside of who kidnapped Joe, outside of that, but like Impact, they do a very good job for years now of developing stories and bringing stories to an end. Like, you don't set up that whole Josh finally gets a title and Moose takes it away in front of his family if you don't have something bigger planned. And you're just not going to do it. Like, it doesn't make sense to me that for them to do that. That's why I agree with you. Either he's re-signed or he is like, hey, I'm going to work here.
Right.
On a like something.
Yeah, no, I just, you're not going to lose your visa if you don't have, you can't quit your, anyways, yeah, I'm sure there's more to it. They know a lot more than us. I still want to get your thoughts on Cross going to LW. Oh yeah, well, that makes sense. Your idea, do we need a second show if that happens? Quick answer on that. But also, yep, Samoa Joe is free now. William Regal is free. I just, you know, man. Oh, the other thing, Lance Storm is now a producer and stuff with Impact, which is awesome. They have the gut check coming out. We're working with. That's another thing I want to mention on State of Impact. The good things happening. So they're working with Arnold Classic. Impact stars are going to be signing autographs there. They just try to offer. There you go, the gut check there. They just offered Sean Payton a coaching position. So a lot of things happening that are extra, and that extra isn't necessarily a bad thing. What I mean by that is, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years, 4 years, definitely not. 5 years, definitely not. This shit wouldn't be happening. The fact that I made a mention of live event commercial during the show is just is phenomenal. So Max, wrap that up with regarding to the show, and then close it out for us.
So no, I definitely think they need something, even if it's just an hour YouTube show where they film this show and put it on YouTube like AEW does. Something to, because their roster is growing, and I think a free show on YouTube that's an hour long like AEW does would be great to get people to pay the 99 cents or the $5 or $10,
Sure.
whatever it is, to get the premium money, because it kind of is a, well, where do I find it? Well, it's here on YouTube. It's free. Why don't you just watch these matches? Okay, that's cool. Like, I think that would be the smartest thing for me right now, because unfortunately wrestling is pretty packed. Monday's WWE, Tuesday's WWE, Wednesday's AEW, Thursday's Impact, Friday's AEW, Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays are usually pay-per-view days, Sundays are paper. So it's hard to find a spot for a new show, but I think putting out a show weekly on YouTube would be
Yeah.
huge for them. And my only concern about Lance Storm is he's pretty chummy with Mark Madden. Hopefully, we don't get a Mark Madden infesting Impact.
No, not at all. I'd be very upset if he came in. But that's because he was the lead announcer when no offense to Tony Schiavone, but he was the main dude with Borash and them when they were that last dying days of WCW, and he was very complimentary. He was a big Lance Storm mark, and rightfully so. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think they already are doing the thing with the DC or the DMC. There they have those matches, those featured exclusive internet matches. So they're doing that. It would, I guess, next step in the evolution would be grow it to an hour and have one and brand it.
Yeah, like a full
I
blown
agree.
show. Yeah.
But I would love, obviously, down the road a number two show. We've never had it from TNA one to now. We just or NWA TNA one to now. Just never had a successful second show, and that's actually the same size. It just would feel nice. But the rate they're going, I mean, I made a joke about it, but they just got the rights to all 10 seasons of Wahlburgers for AXS TV's app. They did.
Did they? That's
They
big.
got I forgot the damn name. Is what a V Vanguard? No, I don't remember. They just bought the production company or the library of movies that are gonna the King's Daughter and all those. So they just bought that. They're doing things for that app, man. And now that's on YouTube TV.
Anthem's buying WWE. That's what I'm going
I
with.
don't know about that. All right, guys. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you to everyone listening to us. You know, obviously numbers are low there. I see a big plus in YouTube, so thank you for that. But let us know whatever we could do to improve the show. Let us know. We have no hard feelings. And obviously, people say whatever they want in the YouTube comments. As Io there is saying at the bottom, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 350. I'll decide on 350 for Rebellion. That's still April. And then perfect timing. Lucha's in the chat tonight. LOL TNA is debuting rather soon. It's nothing like that we already do. It's interesting. It makes fun of ourselves, and it takes place in a treehouse. So it's a good time. And that will be myself, Lucha, and Johnny coming back to the channel. Johnny Mac, our friend. Yeah, so some good times ahead, guys. Once again, go watch Talking Bloody Nonsense. They deserve to watch. Likes and listens. They're great. And then you can't miss with those TBN chats as well. Power Rankings will be back very soon. Thank you for coming out. God bless and good night.
Anthem buys WWE, and Raw becomes our second
Anthem
show.
Exhibition Wrestling, AEW.
Book it right here. Anthem buying, just like I was right with Bullet Club and the Good Brothers. This will eventually happen. It's all about time.
TNA. All right, guys. See you next time.
Later, guys.